This is the Business Chat Podcast.
Welcome back to the Business Chat. I'm still your host, Drew, and it's season 5 where I hang out with Sean and meet his friends. Sean from Cogent has more friends here. Who are we talking to today, Sean?
So today we're talking to my buddy Gabe Pringle from Guy Hurley Insurance, president of Guy Hurley Insurance. So
What's up, Gabe?
Thank you.
Good to have you, man.
Very much for hanging out with us today, and we're very excited that we get a chance to take a subject that normally when someone hears insurance. So if you're listening to this, please don't turn off this right now. Make sure that you're listening. Hang with us because it's going to be great. It's going to be inspirational. And if you don't like it, we would like you to share your comments either way at the end. But I think one of the biggest things is we're going to take a topic that if you're a business owner, business leader, and you have the responsibility of quarterbacking the corporate insurance, right, for themselves and the entire organization where families are coming to every day, that you help them coordinate in a unique way just how to help them navigate that, have peace of mind so that their focus is not dealing with the boring part of the insurance, but yet they can focus on their business knowing that you are going to give them peace of mind and that behind the scenes you're helping them. And so what you do as an organization, I know we won't obviously talk about any names, but you handle the major players.
Absolutely.
And I'd say that, east of the Mississippi, you have a pretty major player in all of those states. So I think it's pretty cool. So again, I'm fortunate that you actually, that you're my friend. And secondly, that you decided to come on and, so I'm excited. And he said he'd give you an autograph, Drew.
Okay, great.
So he'll make it out. It is DREW when you make it to Drew.
Right.
Well, sync and ask. But yes, man, I'd be thrilled. I would be for the record. Yes. All right, great.
Yeah. We'll get a picture of you guys at the end. But anyway, so before we start out, I think, Gabe, if you can share with everybody that's listening is what is an epic problem that you have helped organizations solve, right? And what I mean by epic is one that you can't write a check and make it go away, even though sometimes we think we can. But then we have to work collaboratively, think strategically, and implement tactically. So would you give an example of how you've helped an organization solve an epic problem so that when someone's listening, they're like, oh, that's me, I identify that. Or they have a friend that says, hey, I got a bro that's dealing with that. And I need to connect them, with Gabe. And so share, if you wouldn't mind, something inspirational.
And once again, thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. Of course.
This is great. Like you said, Sean, insurance is not the sexiest topic out there.
Yeah, I mean, I think it is. Yeah. And it's kind of sexy. That's why I wear a Hawaiian shirt. Unbuttoned twice.
But So when I think of epic problems, right, I think of something that impacts all businesses.
Yeah. Right.
The insurance industry is in a state of increasing rates, which means increasing premiums.
Right.
I read the news.
And so the unique thing is the insurance has cycles, right? Often referred to as roller coasters, right? And those are called softening and hardening markets. A soft market is when rates go down because insurance companies are making a lot of money. And hard markets are when it rises, and that means increased rates, increased premium. So that has been the way for 100 years, right? And the cycles typically run 4 to 6 years. Over the past 10 years, we've been in a prolonged hard market, meaning that over the past 10 years, insurance rates and premiums have gone up despite what businesses are doing to control risk.
I see.
This is an epic problem, right?
Yeah.
When you look at businesses' expenses, typically their first largest expense is going to be payroll. And then guess what follows? Insurance. Right?
Yep.
So it's our job at Guy Hurley to help manage that.
Got it.
So the why, right? The why behind the epic problem.
Right.
There has been a massive increase in litigation, and we're seeing something called nuclear verdicts, where say there was a claim 5 years ago that may have settled for $500,000. Right. We're seeing that same claim today going in front of a jury and now potentially settling for $25 million.
Ooh.
Right? So when that happens, the insurance companies have to pay, and guess how they get funded, right? They get funded based on premiums.
Sure.
So this combined with the catastrophes we're seeing all over the country are just rising costs. So that is kind of, shouting, fire bells or whatever, but the positive here is there's a solution, right? But it's all about taking calculated risk as a business owner.
Okay.
The days of just hoping your rates are going to go down on their own are probably beyond us.
Yeah.
So when we work with business owners, we're looking for business owners that are ready to take some calculated risk, that are investing in their safety programs, and have an entrepreneurial mindset. Yeah. If we find businesses that are interested in those three things, we can create programs where they can take larger deductibles and in turn have the opportunity to really secure about 60% savings on their insurance program. But it's all based on losses. Those types of programs are called loss-sensitive programs. Okay. Common terms for those are group captive, large deductible, or even dividend programs.
Right.
So that epic problem is rates aren't going down anytime soon. As a business owner, it's time to think about what can I do and what do I want to do to mitigate this cost.
So you help them design the strategy then.
Absolutely.
And give them the timeline and peace of mind with, not that there's a predictive piece of what, but you're giving them greater assurance and better probabilities, which is what all insurance is about.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so that they have that greater peace of mind, and you help them navigate that in an organized way and not just set it and forget it. Way.
That's a great point, Sean. So what we're looking at when we develop these programs are the lines that are very predictable. Property, for example, that is not a predictable line of business. We cannot control when that next storm is going to come through. But workers' compensation, general liability, and auto, those are three very predictable lines that what you do from a risk management perspective is going to impact your future losses. Sure. So that's a great point. So part of what we do is we do a loss-sensitive readiness program. Okay. We would never come to a business and say, hey, here you go, join this program, you're going to have this massive deductible, good luck. Right? That's not how we operate. We come in, we do a full comprehensive safety review, and then put a plan in place to work towards one of these programs.
I guess then a question comes up, and it kind of tees into what I was going to ask you anyway. Is it sounds as though you're implying there are other groups out there that do hand out just sort of here's sort of the cookie cutter that fits kind of your employee head count, and Guy Hurley's like applying more of a tailored approach.
Absolutely.
Yeah, great.
Yep. Yeah. And when you think about our leadership team, for example, we are all former underwriters. Why that matters is we know how the sausage is made.
I was going to say, you've been in the trenches,
man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So part of our process is with that underwriter hat on, when we're meeting with clients for the first time, we're taking a deep dive into their fleet safety program, into their employee safety program, including like how do you handle return to work? We're doing a contract review. And the reason why is because we were former underwriters. And we know that matters in getting your rate reduced, right? So even if we're not all businesses like we're talking about qualify for these large deductible or group captive programs, right? But all businesses can get preferred rates, I would say, if they're doing the right things.
Right. And I love that, man. You're giving a nice umbrella view for folks that are, because that's what I'm sensing as you're saying this, as I see the other side of that coin. Like, okay, there's definitely some folks like your organization applying that tailored approach, underwriter background. There's empathy, but there's also there's a lot of experience coming in, crafting what an organization needs for the purpose side of it. That Sean and I've been getting a kick out of getting the varied responses personally, but also professionally. Talk to me about what you feel like, what purpose comes into play in terms of we get what you do, tactically,
absolutely.
Right? But is it really, does it come down to where you get to have kind of a personal relationship with these clients and say, it's great to be able to see them have this, you can tell a story. I don't want to put constraints around that.
No,
but on the purpose side of that, I just love hearing where you go, man, our purpose or my purpose is,
Yeah, no, it's a great question. And thinking about that, right? So I spent most of my career on the insurance company side of the house. And on that side of the house, we work with a lot of different brokers. Right. Guy Hurley is a broker. And I just saw a significant need for client advocacy on the front end. So 5 years ago, I made that shift over to the broker side. So when we talk about purpose, it's being able to provide expertise and really be an extension of my client's team. right? So we're not, the way I like to think about it is our product is simply a promise.
Yeah.
Right? Any agent can go out and sell a piece of paper and a promise.
Yeah.
Right? That's the bare minimum.
Right.
We can elevate that. Right? We can do a lot more.
Cool.
So that's, if you think about purpose, it's how can we become your risk management arm, reduce your risk, make sure your employees are going home safe. Right? And then, really create a insurance and risk management program that works for you.
Huge difference.
Yeah,
it's subtle,
absolutely.
But it's the way you guys approach it. Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
And like you said, most of our clients are friends now, right? It's a true relationship.
It gets personal quick, right? And as you're talking to this owner, this C-suite team, you're going, guys, this may sting a little, but you need to be spending more money here. Right. And I know that's not exciting.
Yeah, exactly.
But here's why that's a better long-range plan. And you talked about some of that. Okay, yeah. Well, great answer.
Yeah.
So a couple of things. So leading into that, tell me how does Guy Hurley function, right? So that someone's listening and like, wow, I really like that. My person I work with doesn't do that, and I do have an epic problem. I identify with that, but I'd like to understand how is it that Guy Hurley functions compared to somebody else. So what is it so talk about your process, your system, how you function as an agency so that someone understands, I identify with that, right? And I like their purpose, I like how they function, and so share a bit about that, about how you guys operate.
Right? Yeah, absolutely. I think at the foundation, every client is a little different, but we really lean on our expertise to work with clients to figure out what their epic problem is. At the beginning of this podcast, we talked about the global epic problem of rising rates. Right. But each individual business has their own individual epic problem, right? It could be they had one of those nuclear claims a couple years ago, and they haven't figured out a strategy to get their premiums reduced, or what to do in the aftermath of that. Sure. It could be they've gone into a new state where insurance is harder to secure. There are a variety of things. So our process right there, is when we meet with clients for the first time, we kind of do what we're doing here, a full interview of, okay, where are you at today, and where do we want to go? Part of that process is what we also previously talked about. What's your risk appetite? Are you comfortable with large deductibles?
I like that a lot, by the way, risk appetite.
Right?
I have an appetite.
It's a really nice way of being like, so how much
exactly.
How much you're willing to crash and burn, man?
Right?
No, that's good. That's slick, man. Okay.
And so it's that. And then after we kind of go through that process, we develop a plan. And it's not just about the piece of paper we're selling, right? We have a full risk management team. We have a claims team. So there's a lot of clients that come to us where they have a really tough claim situation that they're currently involved in, and they have no advocacy from their current partner. We often jump in, even though it's technically not our claim, is what they would say. We jump in and help them resolve that, right? So typically we have long-term partnerships. So that's the beginning. But when we begin working with somebody, it's a very long-term partnership that has stages and steps to get them to really become a best-in-class company from a risk perspective.
Got it.
I think that's one of the things that's neat, right? You talk about retention, and that's what's made Guy Hurley so successful for so many decades. Yeah. And so can you share a little bit about, somatically, what is it that people experience? What do these businesses experience? I know you have a lot of focus in construction and manufacturing, but what do these companies experience by, being part of that and going through that system or process and having that peace of mind? Share with us a little bit about what they would say.
Right. So, like you mentioned, we're heavily involved in the construction industry. So, our vice president of risk management, Mike Eckert, I just spoke with him before coming here, and he's been on a 7-day roadshow of really leading safety meetings for these large organizations. So that's a piece, kind of the quick hit, but we become an extension of their team, right? So it's often daily conversations, and it's a variety of things, right? But we're always there. So if it's a contract that needs to get reviewed, right, we have expertise in that. So we're reviewing contracts, providing feedback. If like we said, we can't predict claims, but when they happen, we're there and ready. So claim comes in, we're immediately putting an action plan together and addressing that. Why does that matter to a business? Because your premiums are based partly on the claims cost, right? So if we can get claims identified, closed quickly for less cost, it's going to support keeping your premiums where they're at.
Yeah, so, going down the road.
This episode of the Business Chat is sponsored by Indoor Golf Solutions. Indoor Golf Solutions is PGA Pro owned and trusted nationwide. They can work with anybody in the United States. Professional installations are available for homes or businesses, whether you need full service or just some DIY assist. Their services are not limited to just selling you a simulator, which anyone can do. Indoor Golf Solutions is a full service company. They want to collaborate with individuals, business owners, golf courses, and contractors to ensure that a golf simulator experience of yours is second to none. They can provide a game that both golfers and you non-golfers can enjoy. You've seen Top Golf and all those popping up. Bring that into your home, especially in those winter months. Makes it a perfect game for team building events or family fun days. For more information and to learn more, visit yourindoorgolfsolutions.com.
And it seems like as you talk about the differentiator, something that Sean and I, and I think anybody listening to anyone saying we're a professional services provider, kind of the second instinctive thing they're going, come at me, man. What makes you guys different? So to satisfy that in the back of someone's mind listening, and I'm genuinely curious because I think I get it, but what would you say from your time there? Hey, this is when you shop around. Yeah. The Guy Hurley experience is truly unique in this way, and why? What would you say is the one? I'm sure there's 8, right? But
absolutely.
Give us one today. Yeah.
So the biggest thing, there are 8. So,
right?
So
well, give us the top 3.
Yeah, there you go. Shake and bake, man.
Give us the top 3.
So first thing I think we want to talk about here is something I like to call a market appetite score.
Okay.
Most brokers aren't going to talk about that with the client, but it's part of that initial process. And what that is, every business.
Are you saying that other brokers can sometimes be lazy?
No, not at all.
Is there a copy quote Brady bag?
What exactly
type
are you
model?
Implying today?
Yeah, and I'm just wondering, is there other brokers out there? It's odd.
I don't know.
Anyway, pardon my sarcasm.
You should have been attorney. It's great.
So when we think about a business and them getting rated for premium, right? When I say market appetite score, underwriters are looking at 3 things. They're looking at the class of business. So a street and road contractor is much riskier than a dry cleaner. Right. So
and a roofing contractor is more risky than them or whatever.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. Right. Yeah. So that's one element, right? That kind of gets you in your group.
Okay.
The next element are your losses. So underwriters firmly believe that prior losses are going to predict future losses.
We should probably put a whiteboard in here.
So
as he's talking,
absolutely.
I totally want to write this.
I would love to.
Hey, for all of you, and if you're listening, just picture it in your mind with one eye open while you're driving on the road.
Yeah,
exactly.
Sorry to interrupt you, but
no problem, right? And then the next thing are your behaviors, right? What are you doing to keep your employees safe, right? And those 3 things give you what I like to call your market appetite score.
Appetite score.
And what that does is we then use that to go to the underwriters and say, this is how we negotiate their premiums, right? So we're bringing a level of underwriting knowledge to the table that I think proactively. Yes.
I want it's like this is really critical point what you're saying.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I mean this with seriousness. You literally take the time way upstream to understand about somebody's business so that when you communicate it, you're not just filling out a application.
That's right.
You're literally creating a storyboard that they're authorizing you to go tell their story to the underwriter, which then gives peace of mind to the underwriter that working with you, even if it's the same carrier.
That's right.
Of working with Guy Hurley versus somebody else. And I think some people have a misconception. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I'm passionate about this, right? Is that people need to choose the right broker instead of saying, hey, we're going to go to 3 brokers and give X amount of markets to each broker. Yeah. Businesses are, please listen, turn the volume up, go to 55 on your volume, right? To hear this. Pick the broker first. That's what you're saying is key. If a broker doesn't do that to navigate, help tell that story to someone that they have a relationship with, correct me if I'm wrong, you're going to be able to far greater drive a greater rate for them for the risk that they have, what they can and can't control, because of how you've been interested in them by actively listening, actually writing it down, and then regurgitating it back with their authorization to that underwriter, who then says, oh, I'd rather work with a Guy Hurley agent than I would, we won't name some others, you and I know a few choice folks to add, but anyway, than these other folks. Yeah. Because the underwriter's thinking the same thing.
That's exactly right.
Thinking, oh, cool. This is a submission, if you will, from Gabe and his team. Yep. And so,
which has all the background and intelligence.
Yes,
and
like I have the intel.
sculpting.
Who are you going to want to go? Like that
exactly
is your
right, Sean.
That's your intel. And I'm sorry, I get very excited about that.
But
fire it up, man.
Who would have known, right?
Well, to me, I think that's the thing. Where as a business leader, we make these stupid emotional decisions, and we say, "Oh, I'm going to go have."
Season 6, stupid emotional decisions.
Oh my gosh, personally and professionally, right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
So I think to me, and I know I kind of derailed there, but I just that's a critical piece that you guys do that is so critical, and people have to think about it. If they don't receive that type of information of how you're going to tell the story, they should not work with that broker.
You're absolutely right. And
I'm sorry to derail you.
But I often say that's my job, because I don't want to tell people I work in insurance, right? I'm a storyteller, right?
Right.
Because that's what we do. And the other thing is,
I tell stories because that's I do that. Do you go that Instagram program? You tell stories on that.
Don't worry, all three of us show up at a bar and like, I'm in marketing, I'm insurance, and they just kind of part the way. They're like, oh crap, get away from these guys. So we feel you,
loser.
I mean, insurance carries a different, hat with it, but continue.
Storytellers, I'll sit down next to you.
Yeah, right. Yeah, VH1. Right.
Yeah,
as long as you don't have my hair, right, or like a coat, I'm a storyteller. Yeah. Okay, hey, let's get this guy a booth,
Yeah.
That's nice, though. I like that.
Yeah, and the other thing is, we don't come out of that saying every business is best in class. Underwriters are real people, right? And a lot of times we come out of that with, these are things we're working towards.
Sometimes we're not. So, I think some of them are waxed, like the androids. But anyway,
right. Yeah. But Sean, you mentioned it. Something we often hear from business owners is, no matter what, we shop every 3 years.
Yeah.
And
not interested. Bye bye.
And not even not interested. They're doing themselves a major disservice.
Yeah.
And the reason why is underwriters get what I call marketing fatigue.
Yes.
Right. So even at Guy Hurley, when we're working with businesses, our standard is pretty much we're going to go to market about every 3 years.
If needed.
If needed. Exactly right. Yeah. Because the last
That's
thing,
all caps, if needed.
Yeah.
Like you said with the cycles, right? It's kind of like, what are we doing shopping around? Yeah.
And the last thing we want is our carrier partners, so our insurance company partners, to get fatigue from seeing a specific business.
You don't want to burn them out.
Exactly. They're, in the commercial insurance industry, we'll say there's 25 really, really strong insurance carriers that most agencies are going to use. And those underwriters don't move around that often. Right. So one, if they see it from us, right, every couple of years, that's okay. But when you said when a business owner goes out and says, oh, I'm going to go get 3 agents, and now that underwriter sees a submission from 3 different agents, immediately they say, I have no opportunity. I'm not interested.
Yep.
Right. So
it's a race to zero.
Of the 25, you just lost a market, right?
Yes.
And that's going to continue to happen. So my biggest advice, you said it, Sean.
Yes.
Pick your broker.
Pick your broker first, dadgummit.
Exactly.
So I think to me it's pick your broker first. Yeah, and when I say the word dadgummit, I'm serious. Like that's a profound statement.
Oh yeah. I mean
that is like that gum. Yeah. I mean,
and do your research. Everybody knows an insurance broker.
Yeah,
right.
Everybody.
It only takes a week class, 40 hours, and you can get your property and you can get your property casualty insurance license. Right. It's a very big decision. It shouldn't just be a decision based on somebody you know at a country club or you know from church. Right.
Yes.
This is your business we're talking about. It's your second largest expense. Do your due diligence. Make sure you're picking a broker that has expertise in your industry and has the services that you desire.
Well, I think the other thing too is that cares enough to listen and not sell.
Absolutely.
The nice thing about what you guys do, and that's why I love that we've partnered together, is that you guys go in and you are interested first instead of trying to be interesting.
Right.
Now, not that anybody in the insurance industry, has arrogance or anything like that. That would never occur in the insurance industry. No. But sometimes I've heard of maybe once or two, of course, most likely on the West Coast, but would be brokers that would come in. I said that for you, not from California. So, but they come in and they're all about, they show up and throw up, right? And they're just like, oh, it's about us, blah, 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 blah.
Yes.
Whereas you guys sit down and say, let's qualify you to see if it makes sense for you to work with Guy Hurley.
Right.
And I love how you do that.
And with that, I mean so this is great because you're giving us turning this on its head about not selling Guy Hurley on this podcast as much as, and you weren't going to do that, but walking through. I will.
I'm more than happy to say
it. I have no problem now.
I can say as a third party, independent.
Walking through the epic problem, what people can be doing, because a lot of folks can be hearing this going, I get it. You three guys are trying to say, like, keep these middlemen, keep these services in place. We get what you got. You guys are worried about your job. And I would understand that in marketing, around healthcare, around insurance. There's this sense of going, but I want that direct to, and that DIY thing is taken over as folks shop.
Absolutely.
With all that known in their head, so for someone listening with a little bit of their arms folded, like skeptical, tell a story. I'd love to hear an example, without maybe names or companies, but where you saw the greatest impact in the process you're talking about, where you were able to come alongside an individual, probably an organization, and basically have that full conversion experience. Or maybe it's one where they went, wow, you guys weren't wrong and you saved our butts kind of thing. But in your own words, an impact story. Yeah, great impact.
So for sure. So we had a client about 3 or 4 years ago now that had a really unfortunate accident.
Okay.
And the reserves on that claim went up into the millions of dollars. As a result, they were in the standard market, low deductibles. As a result, their insurance premium was increasing at a very significant rate. Let's say 25-30% a year. Getting to the point where they were paying about $800,000 in annual premium.
Just to be complete.
Right. And we started introducing this process of, looking into their safety and doing the loss-sensitive readiness program, and got to the point where we all agreed, including their executive team, that this made sense to make this jump.
Right. And cutting in real quick, because another implied thing you're putting here, you all meet a lot of folks, unfortunately, on the other side of that.
Correct.
Yes. You're getting a phone call a lot of times because someone goes, hey, this thing happened.
Yes.
So again, just for people listening, that's a lot of people Gabe meets.
Yes.
So,
Yes, absolutely.
Give them a call.
Well, you're dealing with things where, like, when you talk about safety, like where people lose limbs or lives.
Absolutely.
They lose limbs or lives.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah.
And I think that's a thing that's important, that you don't take that lightly.
Yeah.
So
Anyway,
continue on, brother.
Yep. So from there, meeting with their executive team, meeting with our team, we agreed to move forward with a loss-sensitive product. And just a little bit of background on these loss-sensitive products while we're getting to this. Let's just use $1 as an example. Sure. Say you're a business and you pay $1 in insurance premiums today.
Okay.
You pay that $1 to your insurance company and you never see anything back.
Right.
A loss-sensitive program, the loss there, right, means that you're going to pay for your losses. Yeah. So what these insurance companies do, or these group captives do, is they're going to charge you the minimum that it costs to run kind of the organization.
Okay.
Right. And so that's about 40 cents on that $1.
Right.
So day one, you're going to pay 40 cents of that $1 premium. Throughout the year, you're going to pay for your losses, right? If you don't have any losses, you're only going to pay the 40 cents. Now the risk comes in on the other
fixed
end.
versus variable.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Fixed versus, Now the risk comes in because in a worst case scenario, you may pay more than the $1, right? And that's typically somewhere, let's just say $1.25 to $1.40. So when we're sitting with businesses and talking through this, we often look at their prior history, right? And a lot of times what we find is that if these businesses would have been introduced to these programs and been put into them earlier, they would have been saving significant dollars over the course of the year. In this situation, they have moved to that program and have saved hundreds of thousands of dollars over the past several years.
And you help secure them from like the catastrophic stuff through reinsurance agreements or whatever is needed based on the type of industry that they're in.
Absolutely. And I guess just going back to the epic problem, right? when you enter these loss sensitive programs, your premiums are no longer based on what the market is doing, right? So you're now controlling your destiny, and you're not reliant on what's happening in the industry.
Right.
Correct.
So one area that we've been able to help a recent customer is introducing telematics into their fleet. And at first, when we introduced this telematics program, their employees were really, really concerned.
Explain that one for a dummy.
So what telematics is when a business decides to install GPS monitoring into their vehicles. And that they're going to monitor hard braking, speeding, hard turning, all of that, right? And initially, their employees were just, hey, I don't want Big Brother watching me, right? But after about a year of implementation, we found that their losses had actually decreased by about 40%. And when I say losses, I mean accidents, right? Yes. So this was
property loss.
Exactly an unconventional kind of idea at the time when it was instituted, but the impact it had on keeping their employees safe and preventing those large losses was drastic. So
I was working for a power company, living out west, and job getting through my 20s, and I never forget. I, of course, rolled my eyes at it, but I mean, it really shook the organization. Can you believe this? And guys, I'm turning my nose. I thought, well, guys, we should be staying on our route and not driving to the strip club.
Exactly.
But yeah, absolutely, they didn't want to have any of that measured in the early 2000s. No, it was
good. So
it
benefits the business, right? Reduces their costs, but at the end of the day, it's all about keeping those employees safe and making sure they're going home. Yeah,
you're providing a service, products to organizations. It's not that it's not looking out for the employee, but they can't be the one to speak to some of that. You're like, sorry, man, this is going down. This is going to help you.
I think it's just how you communicate it. Yeah. And if you just send it in an email, it's not going to work.
Sure.
You have to explain the why and the how and the expectations.
Sure.
Clearly, simply and clearly too, and then people are going to, okay, that makes sense.
Right. Yep.
So when they understand that. So one last question for you is, so what is it in your professional opinion, right? As a leader, you lead an organization with a number of employees. What's one thing that whoever's listening today outside of insurance, right? And just listening as a human being, what's the one thing you would recommend that they do or implement in their life to live a life of greater joy and happiness?
Oh, that's a great question. So it's funny. The first thing that comes to mind is actually a Chinese parable.
Here we go.
I don't speak Chinese though.
You haven't?
Yeah. No, I don't speak Chinese.
Well, it's great.
Are you going to say it in English?
Yeah. So I'm sure you've heard it before, but I'll just kind of quickly go through it. Right.
In English, of course.
In English, of course.
So cool. All right.
So and you can stop me if you've heard it, but the parable just simply goes like this, right? There's a farmer, and one day he loses his horse, right? And all the townspeople come and say, "Oh my gosh, that's so horrible that you lost your horse," right? And the farmer says, "Maybe." Right? A couple days later, the horse comes back, but brings 5 wild horses back with him. Now the townspeople come back and say, "Oh my gosh, this is amazing. You now have 6 horses." Farmer says, maybe. Yeah. Yep. A few days later, his son's breaking in the horse, right? Horse bucks him, falls down, breaks his back. All the townspeople come and say, "Oh my gosh, this is so horrible. Your son has a broken back." Yeah. Farmer, maybe, right? 3 weeks later, the army comes into town. They draft all the young men in the village, except for the farmer's son. Right. Townspeople come, "Oh my gosh, you're so lucky. Your son didn't get drafted." Yeah. Farmer says, maybe.
That's his one word
right?
response.
I'm
picking the theme up.
Right. So what I'm getting at here is when events happen, you can't react too quickly because you don't know what the outcome is going to be. Yeah. Right. So be open to things happening in your life, and then respond in a positive way and see what's out there for you.
That's great.
Right?
That's
great.
That's
awesome.
So, yeah.
I am going to use Google Translate to turn that into
turn it back into Chinese.
Turn back into Chinese,
Yeah.
so I can literally be like, I just think that'd be so cool.
There's a whole compliance QA after this too, so it's pretty a short episode.
So this is a full-on DEI program we're running here, so it's all good. We're gonna make America great again. So.
Oh my gosh! Well, Gabe, thanks for being on the show. We appreciate you taking the time.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate you, brother, for being on.
Really appreciate it.
Yeah,
thank you for letting me, interject a few things. So
how could it go any other way with Sean? That's right. Yeah.
The Business Chat is a production of Suited and Suited Studios. End the chaos and experience marketing relief with one full-service solution. Visit looksuited.com for more information.